register for a job interview. But now what? The job interview's in a week. What should I do? What will they ask me? I know I'm supposed to prepare, but what does that even mean? If you're feeling like this, don't worry. The Career Service team is here to help. In this video, I'll give you 3 things you should know before going into your job interview. You should know yourself, know the job market, and know the company. Finally, at the end, I'll give you a couple of tips for preparing for an online job interview. But first, did you know that in most cases, you can take a few notes in with you to your interview? Now, I wouldn't recommend bringing a notebook filled with papers and full of pre-formulated answers that you can simply read off to the interview committee. But having a nice-looking notebook with a page of keywords to help guide your interview responses can be a lifesaver. Plus, it shows the interview committee that you've invested time and effort in preparing for your interview with their company. You can find a link to our interview preparation notes template on Auli's in the video description to help you get started. You are a unique individual with a unique combination of knowledge, experiences, and passions. It's your job to show your future employer how your exact combination of knowledge, experiences, and passions is just what they need to add to their team. So take a moment for some self-reflection. What are some things you want to be sure that the interview committee knows about you? Having trouble getting started? Use the job description to help. Take a look through the job posting to see what sorts of qualifications are necessary for the job, as well as what sorts of tasks you would be doing in the job itself. Now think about yourself. What things have you done in the past that show that you can do the tasks necessary for the job? What sorts of skills do you have that align with the qualifications for the job, and how did you learn those skills? Use these questions to help identify a couple of experiences that you want to talk about in the job interview. Then, when the interview committee asks you questions, use these stories to help you answer. The other part of knowing yourself is knowing the potential problem areas in your application. Are there skills that are necessary for the job that you don't have yet, or that you don't feel very confident in? Are there parts of your application that the interview committee might not look favorably upon, such as gaps in your employment or hopping from job to job every month? Taking the time to identify these problem areas can help prevent you from feeling attacked during the interview itself if there are questions about them. It also gives you a chance to think about how you might want to explain these things in a positive way. It doesn't take more than a quick internet search to find lists of hundreds, if not thousands, of questions that could come up in a job interview. While I don't recommend studying these questions and preparing an answer for every single one, it can be helpful to think about your answers to some of them in advance. You can find a list of a few questions on Auli's via the link in the video description below. But, to get you started, here are a few examples. Tell us about yourself. Why should we hire you? Why did you apply for this job? What are some of your strengths and weaknesses? How do you deal with challenges? How do you imagine your first month in the new job? If you found yourself struggling with some of these questions, that's perfectly normal. Take some time with those challenging questions and think about how you could answer them. Remember, there may not be a right answer. Here, it's just important that you answer truthfully and professionally. Use your resources to get informed about the company. Use the company website to learn about their values and goals. Look at the department's website to learn who might be on your team and what sorts of work they do. Use other websites like Kununu to find out what former employees say about working there. Do you know somebody who's working at the company right now or who has worked there in the past? Reach out to them and see if they would be willing to talk with you about their experiences. Once you've learned a little about the company and your potential team, start to think of a few questions you have about the company or position itself. These could be questions about the company culture, about how employees are evaluated, or about opportunities to get involved with specific projects. You can use these questions to show that you already know a little bit about the company, but their primary goal is to help you understand if you would actually want to work there. An interview is a two-way street, and this is your opportunity to interview them. I recommend preparing at least 5 questions in advance. You may not ask all of them, but it's always helpful to have a couple of extra questions ready in case the interview committee unknowingly answers some of them earlier on. While you should use these questions to help inform yourself about the job, I recommend avoiding questions about things like vacation days or other job perks at this point in the application process. If you get a job offer, there will be plenty of time to ask questions about these sorts of policies before signing your contract. In terms of content, you can prepare for an online job interview in the same way that you would prepare for an in-person job interview. Know yourself, know the job market, and know the company. However, there are a couple of additional things you should keep in mind when thinking about an online job interview. Use a neutral background. Arrange your webcam so it's at eye level. Connect to the internet with a cable, not just via Wi-Fi. Have a glass of water next to you. Dress for the interview like it's taking place in person. Use a headset with a microphone. Finally, regardless of whether your interview is online or in person, remember that the potential employers are rooting for you to succeed. They want to fill their position with a qualified candidate just as much as you want to find a great job. Use the interview to make sure it's a good fit for both of you. For more information about job interviews or the job searching process as a whole, take a look at the Career Service website, come to some of our events, or schedule an appointment with an advisor. We would be happy to help you on your way to professional success. See you then!